Hello aspirants, this is Mahesh Ahuja and I welcome to all of you in Competition Community's FTR 3.0 series. In this FTR series, I am going to deal with the Indian history section. So in Indian history section, you will get total 11 videos of Indian history, and out of this 11 videos, that 9 video will be from the ancient, medieval and the modern history. Rest of the 2 videos will be covering of Indian philosophy section. Okay, so out of this 11 videos, here is the first video of FTR series, and in this video we have covered with the topics of advent of Europeans and some questions from the Subsidiary Alliance, and also we have covered the Revolt of 1857 topics. So I have tried to cover the questions with concepts, and including concepts we will also discuss about the facts which will be helpful for your examination, and that makes your understanding about this topic very easily. Okay, so without wasting time, let's start FTR 3.0 series with the very first question here. So here is the first question of this Indian history. I have taken this question from the Portuguese. We all know very well that the first ever Europeans came in India was the Portuguese. So here is the question from Portuguese Governor. You have given with the 3 statements and you have to identify which statement is incorrect statement. So whenever you find the statement in your exams, this type of questions, then very first thing you have to do is first of all encircle whether you have to identify the incorrect one or you have to identify the correct one. So here you have to identify the incorrect one. Yes, with this you have done with the 50% job. Now your next job is to read the statements. So because these statements are from Portuguese Governor, so before start, I want to tell you that what is the chronological order of the Europeans who came to India. First, let's discuss with this. Okay. So first Europeans who came to India were Portuguese, we all know very well, and Portuguese came from Portugal, and the capital of the Portugal was Lisbon, and we all know very well that in 1498 Vasco da Gama came to India and he started his journey from the Lisbon. Okay. After Dutch, British came, they came from England, and number 4 Denmark. From Denmark the Dane came, and number 5 Francesi came. So remember Francesi at number 5. This was the chronological order of the Europeans who came in India. So let's discuss something more about that. So see here, we have seen first came Portuguese, after Portuguese Dutch, after Dutch British, after British Denmark, Dane, and after Dane Francesi came. So here is the sequence of arrival of Europeans. Portuguese came in 1498, remember this thing. Dutch came in 1595, British came in 1600. So while Portuguese came in 1498, but they established their factory at 1500. So their factory established at their own country. So remember, they established their factory at 1500 and the name of the factory was Estado de India. Here 1595, but Dutch established their factory at 1602. Remember, their factory established in 1602. British established their factory 31st of December 1600. Same, no problem. Dane came in 1616 and established their factory in 1662. There is no any problem. French came in 1664, established their factory, their government factory in 1664. So for what reason I have discussed with you these things? See, the reason is, see here, in this sequence, if we talk about British, then for entry in India, the number of British is 3rd. But if we are talking about the establishment of the company, then in case the number of British is 2nd. So here you need to identify here, British came 3rd while we are talking about entry in the India, while we are talking about arrival. But if we are talking about establishment of factories, then the British was the 2nd Europeans, because British factory East India Company established in 1600, while the Dutch company Estado de India Company established in 1602. So here is the main important thing in this topic. That's why I have discussed here. Okay. Now moving ahead. Now we need to discuss about the Portuguese governor. Okay. Portuguese governor. So there we have to discuss about the 3 governors. So first see who came first. The first governor from Portuguese who came in India was first governor Almeida. The name is Francisco de Almeida. The second governor is Alfonso de Albuquerque. Yes, Alfonso de Albuquerque succeeds Almeida. So he is the second governor, second Portuguese governor. And the third governor, Albuquerque, Nino de Cunha succeeds Albuquerque. So he is the third governor. So पहले तो हमने डिसाइड कर दिया कि कौन पहले आए थे और कौन बाद में आए थे. Now we discuss the important points about the Almeida. What work done by the Almeida in India? Okay. So remember, Almeida's vision was to make the Portuguese as the master of the Indian Ocean. You can see here it is Indian Ocean, and Almeida's vision was to make the Portuguese as a master. So his policy was named as the Blue Water Policy because here it is blue water, hence the name of the policy is Blue Water Policy. Remember, Blue Water Policy means that is to be powerful at sea instead of establishing forts at the land. It means the Almeida specially emphasizes on the sea. This is main important point about Almeida. Remember, Almeida launched Blue Water Policy. Next governor was Alfonso de Albuquerque. Okay. Now we have to discuss about Albuquerque. Remember one important thing, that Albuquerque was the real founder of the Portuguese power in the east side. Real founder is Albuquerque. Why? Because Albuquerque acquired the Goa in 1510 from the Bijapur Sultan. This is very important point. He acquired Goa in 1510 and till 1961 Goa was acquired by the Portuguese. So this is very important point about the Albuquerque. An interesting feature of his rule was abolition of sati. Yes, he launched marriage policy also just to increase the population of the Portuguese in India. He launched marriage policy too, and hence he called as a real founder of Portuguese state, Portuguese power in India. Next, Nino de Cunha. Okay, Nino de Cunha succeeds Albuquerque, and remember the Goa which was acquired by the Albuquerque. Now Nino de Cunha, after 1 year later, because Nino de Cunha came in 1529. So after 1 year later in 1530, he shifted the headquarters from Cochin to Goa. Okay, but Goa was acquired by Albuquerque, but Goa made as a headquarter by the Nino de Cunha in 1530. So remember, Goa acquired in 1510, but Goa make headquarter in 1530. Okay. Now after discussing these things, now see what are the statements. First statements, Francisco de Almeida is considered as the real founder. No, this statement is wrong. We all know very well that real founder is nothing but Albuquerque. Now second statement is regarding Nino de Cunha was known for his blue water policy. No, for blue water policy. For blue water policy, Francisco de Almeida is very well known. So this statement is also wrong. But what was the aim? The aimed at making the Portuguese the masters of the Indian Ocean. Remember, this aim was very correct reason, and this may ask in the exam, what was the aim of the blue water policy? So the aim is to make the Portuguese as a master of the Indian Ocean. Alfonso de Albuquerque acquired the Goa from the Sultan of Bijapur in 1510. Yes, this is a very correct statement. Okay, so which of the above statements are correct? So here is your answer. Remember, always you have to identify whether you have to filter the correct statements or the incorrect statements. Okay, so now here is the second question, and this second question is from the factory. Okay, list 1 the name of the Europeans, and list 2 the factory they have established in India. Now, first of all, we started from the chronological order. So, which factory belongs to Portuguese? Okay, Portuguese came in India in 1498 from Vasco da Gama. Vasco da Gama came India second time in 1502. Yes, in 1502, Vasco da Gama came in India second time. So, he established in 1503 the first settlement of Portuguese in India in Cochin. Remember, the name is Cochin. So, Cochin belongs to Portuguese. Remember. After Portuguese, Dutch came. So here the Dutch. So about Dutch, I want to say one thing, that Dutch was not interested in India. The main interest of Dutch was not in India, but their interest was in Indonesia and the islands of Indonesia like Java, Sumatra and the Spice Islands where the spice were produced. So this was the main interest of the Dutches. So these concepts will make you to learn which was the first settlement of Dutch in India. After making the Jakarta as a very important center, they came to India in the western coast, and you all very well know that the western coast is nothing but the Coromandel. Okay, so they came in Coromandel. So obviously the first settlement of Dutch was Masulipatam, and they make this settlement in 1605. Cochin 1503 and Masulipatam in 1605. Obviously, they came from they started their first settlement in western side. So you can easily remember that Masulipatam is the first port of the Dutch. The next European we will discuss about the Dane. Dane means the people of Denmark. They entered India in 1616. We have discussed already in 1616, and they made the first settlement in India in Tamil Nadu. See here, this picture will help you. Tamil Nadu, Tranquebar in 1620. So here it is, Tranquebar in 1620. Then made the first settlement in India, Tranquebar. Remember, the second settlement was Serampur. Here you can see the second settlement was in Bengal in Serampur. Their headquarters was Serampur, but their first settlement was nothing but Tranquebar. Okay, so here it is the first settlement of Dane. Now we need to discuss about the French. The French and British, both first settlement was Surat, because Surat was the more profitable sector, more profitable region. Hence, the British or the French both targeted first as a Surat. So, if examiner asks where was the first factory of British or where was the first factory of French, so both the answer will be the Surat, most important sector for the most profitable sector too. Okay, so here is the answer. So, moving to the next question. Now, next question is, during the reign of which Mughal emperor the English East India Company established its first factory? Now, in this question, you don't have to tell which was the first factory of English. You have to tell during the reign of which Mughal emperor, while it was Akbar or Jahangir, Shah Jahan or Aurangzeb. Okay, so we are going to find the right answer. See here, you need to remember what was the tenure of the Mughal emperor first. First was Akbar from 1556 to 1605, Jahangir from 1605, Shah Jahan 1628 to 58, and 1658 Aurangzeb reigned his tenure. Okay, so here it is. In this picture, you can see in UK the first Queen Elizabeth Empire and the second James I. James I from Britain sent two ambassadors to India, out of which the first was Captain Hawkins, and he sent in 1608, and the second ambassador to India was Thomas Roe, who sent in 1615. So remember, this was the two ambassadors to India, and they land in the Jahangir's court, Mughal Emperor Jahangir court. They were asking about some royal favors. When Captain Hawkins came to Jahangir's court, he was treated very friendly, and he was given some mansab and jagirs too, but he did not get the permission to open the factory in Surat. Remember, first he got the permission, but after the Portuguese interfered, he expelled from the Agra. He refused to open the factory in the Surat in 1608. Remember, in 1608, but finally they settled the permanent factory in the Surat in 1613. They opened the new factory in Masulipatam in 1611, but they settled the permanent factory in Masulipatam in 1616. So remember, they started their first factory in Surat, and answer is 1613. So now the answer of the question is, during the reign of which Mughal emperor? So obviously the first factory was Surat in 1613. So at that time the reign of the Mughal emperor was Jahangir. Now moving ahead to the third question. Arrange the following in the chronological order. Right? Now you have to arrange that following sentences in chronological order. So let's see the first statement here. The East India Company established its first factory in the south in Masulipatam. See here, they have specified here. Where was the first factory of English in South India? So the answer must be Masulipatam. We have discussed it very briefly that they were started their factory in 1611, but they formed the permanent factory of Masulipatam in 1616. So the correct is 1616. Next statement is a permanent factory of East India Company. See, again, they have also specified what was the first permanent factory of the English East India Company in India. So this factory was established at Surat, and this factory was established in 1630. Next, we are going to read, the company got the lease of Madras from a local king. Now we are talking about Madras. Actually, condition in South India was more favorable to the English, because in South India, English did not have to face the more stable Indian government. So in South India, the condition was very favorable. That's why English started from Masulipatam, and then they shifted their factory from Masulipatam to Madras, and soon they shifted their center of activity to Madras. Remember, to Madras, which was in lease from the local king in 1639. Madras was not a big area. Madras was a small area at that time, and it was in lease, and that lease was given by the local king. Remember the date, 1639. And also remember, English built a small fort around this factory in Madras, and the name of the fort is St. George Fort. St. George Fort was built in Madras, while in Pulicat, the Fort Galleria was built by the Dutch. So remember, in Pulicat, Fort Galleria, and in Madras, the name of the fort is St. George. Aurangzeb gave a farman for the trade in Bengal in 1667. Yes, this is also the correct statement. Now you have to arrange in the chronological order. So the very first option is 2. Yes, it is correct. Then after 2, it is the first. Yes, it is correct. Then after first, the statement must come will be the number 4 because 1639. So here it is the correct answer, and then number 3. So your answer is D. Now here is the next question. Which of the following were the reasons for the English success over other Europeans? Among all the powers from the Europeans, the English got the success over others. What was the reason? See, the first reason is, first you have to identify whether you have to select the correct one or the incorrect one. So you have to select the correct ones. First identify or encircle this. Okay. Now, nature of the trading companies. Yes, the nature of the trading companies is different from the Portuguese, is different from the French. The French company was the government company, while the East India Company was controlled by the board of directors, which was elected manually, and their goals was different too. While the Portuguese company and the French company both was owned by the state, both was controlled by the state. Yes, the nature of the trading company was the different. The next sentence is naval superiority of British. Yes, British naval ships were superiors. The Royal Navy of the British were not only the largest, but also it was superior and it was advanced too. The reason of English defeated Portuguese and the French, the reason is because of their naval superiority, and that naval ships learned from the Portuguese too. The English learned from the Portuguese that what is the importance of the naval ships. So yes, this statement is very correct reason. Next is Industrial Revolution. Yes, the Industrial Revolution in Britain came in 18th century, in the earlier of 18th century, while in other countries it came very late. Because of this Industrial Revolution, because of this new machinery, the textiles production was improved, and this helps to make the British East India Company for the better performance as compared to the others, Portuguese and French. Next reason is stable government in Britain. Yes, this reason is also correct because that was a stable government in Britain. जबकि अगर आप देखोगे तो फ्रेंच में एक वायलेंट रिवॉल्यूशन चल रहा था 1789 की बात करें तो, और अगर डच और स्पेन की बात करें तो डच और स्पेन भी 17वीं सेंचुरी के आसपास ये भी युद्ध लड़ने में बिजी थे। 80 सालों का युद्ध इनका चल रहा था। तो बाकी की जो शक्तियां हैं, ऑल अदर पावर्स वाज बिजी इन फाइटिंग, ऑल अदर पावर्स वाज बिजी इन रिवॉल्यूशन, बट द हियर स्टेबल गवर्नमेंट इन ब्रिटेन. Lesser interest in spreading Christianity. As compared to Spain, as compared to Portuguese, as compared to French, Britain was less zealous to spread the Christianity. Okay, so they were very much less interested in spreading Christianity. So this is also the correct reason. So what you have to tell? You have to tell the correct answer. Yes, the answer is D. Now, this is the next question from the Battle of Plassey. Yes. Battle of Plassey paved the way for the British mastery of Bengal and eventually of the whole of India. So which of the following were the reasons? Okay, which of the following were the reason? Correct reasons. यहाँ पर भी देखना जरूरी है कि correct reason बोला है कि incorrect reason for the Battle of Plassey. So select the correct answer. Okay. So आपको बताना है कि इसमें से कौन-कौन से the Battle of Plassey के reason थे. So what was the first statement? Misuse of Dastak. Okay. The first is misuse of Dastak by the company's official in private capacity. There is so much meaning of this sentence. First of all, let me tell you what is Dastak. Dastak is nothing but the pass which was owned by the British East India Company in 1717 by the Mughal Emperor Farrukh Shah. Remember, Farrukh Shah issued the royal farman to the East India Company, and under this farman, the East India Company can import their products can export their products from India without paying taxes or by showing by such a simple pass known as a dastak. But the company's servants or the company's officials were allowed to do the business. Yes, but allowed to do the business, but that was not covered by this farman. They have to pay the taxes like Indian merchants. But what was going to happen? See here. See, suppose this is a barrier and here it is a British merchant and here it is a Indian merchant. Okay. अगर किसी इंडियन को अपना सामान बाहर भेजना है इस बैरियर को क्रॉस करके, तो he has to pay, for example, 30% of the taxes, and that taxes will increase the revenue of the Bengal. Very simple, because he is the Indian government and he doesn't have a farman, so-called dastak. Now, if some British merchants wants to, अगर इसको अपना सामान भेजना है, तो फिर इसको दस्तक दिखाएगा, यहां पर अपना दस्तक या पास दिखाएगा और इसको कोई भी टैक्स यहां पर नहीं लगना है. तो यह सिस्टम था. अब जब इस सिस्टम में क्या चेंज हुआ, कंपनी के जो ऑफिशियल्स थे वो ये करते थे कि दो चीजों से इसका मिसयूज करते थे. पहले तो वो कह देंगे इस इंडियन को कि आप हमको 10% आप हमको दे दो और इस 10% देके हम आपके दस्तक के थ्रू इस आपके जो सामान है इसको फ्री में यहां से पास करा देंगे. तो 10% कंपनी के ऑफिशियल्स को तो मिल गया, लेकिन इससे बंगाल का जो रेवेन्यू था वो कम होता चला गया. तो इससे बंगाल को नुकसान हो रहा था. और ऐसा भी किया जाता था कि वही दस्तक की फोटोकॉपी करवा के ये इंडियंस मर्चेंट्स को दे देते. तो इस तरीके से बाय दिस मेथड दे आर नथिंग बट मिसयूजिंग ऑफ दस्तक. सो यू हैव क्लियर्ड अबाउट व्हाट वाज द मिसयूज ऑफ दस्तक. एंड by company officials in private capacity. Yes, it was for their private capacity, because I have already told you the company servants were allowed to do the business, but this was not covered in the farman. They have to pay the tax. So yes, it is correct. This royal farman or this dastak was a source of conflict between the English East India Company and the Nawab of Bengal, because Nawab of Bengal has a loss of reducing the revenue. So this is the correct statement, and this is the reason, this is the prominent reason of the Battle of Plassey. So remember, this is correct. This is the correct reason. Okay. Now next, fortification of Calcutta. So without permission of the Nawab Siraj-ud-Dawla, the English East India Company started fortified its factories. Okay, Siraj-ud-Dawla interrupted the French company and also interrupted the English East India Company, said do not fortify it. But the French obliged and the English refused to do so. So this is also the prominent reason of the Battle of Plassey. Remember, fortification of Calcutta, and the second reason is misuse of dastak. Abolition of duties on internal trade by the Nawab. No, this is not at all related to the Plassey, Battle of Plassey. Next, shifting of capital from Murshidabad to Munger. The capital of Bengal was Murshidabad at the time of Murshid Quli Khan. By the name of Murshid Quli Khan, the capital of Bengal was Murshidabad. Now that capital was shifted to Munger at the time of Mir Qasim. Remember, it was in 1762. Because the English East India Company was very much abused Mir Qasim because of interfere of the British. Now Mir Qasim shifted his capital from Murshidabad to Munger. He also established small gun factory, or he also established cannon too, and he also rebuilt the port of the Munger here because he wants to improve the condition of the Bengal. So this was the system of Mir Qasim in 1762. So obviously the reason statement number 4 is not at all related to Battle of Plassey. So the correct statement is number 1 and number 2. So moving ahead to the next question. Consider the following statements regarding the dual system of administration of Bengal. Okay, what was the dual system of administration in Bengal? See, after the Battle of Buxar, it means in 1765 with the Treaty of Allahabad. Yes, the Treaty of Allahabad is in 1765. So after this treaty, the English became the real master of the Bengal in 1765. There were the two functions. First functions is called as the Diwani function. Yes, it is Diwani function. And the second function is termed as Nijamat function. So after the Treaty of Allahabad, British East India Company got the Diwani rights of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. Diwani means to collect the revenue system, and Nijamat means the function of judicial, or you can say the function of administration. Okay. Now with this treaty, the company directly collecting the revenue, but the Nijamat function was controlled by the Nawab of Bengal. So see here, this is the division of power and this is called the dual government of Bengal. So Diwani revenue was directly controlled by the English East India Company, while the Nijamat function or the administration function was indirectly controlled by the East India Company. So this held the great advantage for the British East India Company, because in this case all the inputs, it means all the revenues are coming to the East India Company, but the responsibility to the Nijamat, it means the British East India Company has the power without responsibility, while the Nijamat, the Nawab of Bengal, has the total of responsibility and there is no power to discharge this responsibility. So this is the dual system of administration. Now see what are the points here. Under this system, the company directly controlled the finance. Yes, it is true. I have told you the company directly controlling the finance or revenue section, but administration of the province, no, this is correct. The administration of the province was indirectly controlled by the British East India Company, not directly. The Nawab was dependent on the British for both its internal and external security. Obviously, it is a correct statement. Nawab was dependent for both type of security, internal as well as external security. Now, what they are asking, which of the above statement are correct statement? So, the first statement was wrong, but the second statement is correct statement. Now let us enter into the revolt of 1857. Here is the question. The first, consider the following pairs and you have to say, see which of the following are not correctly matched. So you have to say which are not correctly matched pair. Okay. Now let's discuss about the Lucknow first. Revolt of 1857 in Lucknow. Lucknow means you are talking about the Awadh. Okay, Awadh region. Awadh region. So let's discuss about Awadh. The Nawab of the Awadh was Wajid Ali Shah, and the Begum of this Nawab was Begum Hazrat Mahal. She is also known as Mehak Pari, and the son of Wajid Ali Shah was Birjis Qadir. Remember the name of the son, he is nothing but the Birjis Qadir. What happened? The reign broke out in 4th of June 1857 in Lucknow. Yes, in Lucknow, in leadership of Begum Hazrat Mahal. Lucknow is related to Begum Hazrat Mahal. Okay, now let's discuss about the Kanpur. First, let me tell you, the revolt started in Kanpur in 5th of June 1857 and obviously the leader was Nana Sahib. Actually, Nana Sahib was the adopted son of the Peshwa Bajirao II. He was refused from the family title by the British and he banished from Pune to the Kanpur region. Hence, he was the leader in the Kanpur region of revolt of 1857. He proclaimed himself as the Peshwa and acknowledged the Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar as an emperor of India and proclaimed himself, declared himself as the governor of Mughal Samrat Bahadur Shah Zafar. So, at the Kanpur region, who was the leader? The leader was Nana Sahib. Here it is, Kanpur, the leader is nothing but Nana Sahib. So, this is a correct match, while Lucknow Khan Bahadur is a wrong match. Next is Bareilly. In Bareilly, the leader was Bakht Khan and Bakht Khan is also known as Khan Bahadur Khan. Okay, so Bareilly match the following is correct. Khan Bahadur Khan organized an army of 40,000 soldiers and gave a huge resistance to the British. So this is Bareilly. Bareilly, the leader is Khan Bahadur Khan, or you can also known as Bakht Khan, and he was with the Sepoy Mutiny in 1850s. And next, Faizabad, Maulvi Ahmadullah. Yes, it is a correct match because Maulvi Ahmadullah belongs to Faizabad, was a leader in Faizabad. So, not correctly matched pairs. Not correctly matched pair 1 and 3. So, your answer is C. Okay. So, next question. Consider the following statement regarding the revolt of 1857. Check whether you have to identify the correct one or incorrect one. You have to identify the correct one. Okay. Now, see. Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar was considered to be the weakest link in the chain of leadership of the revolt. Bahadur Shah Zafar, lack of personality and an old age man and a lack of leadership too. All these reasons make the Bahadur Shah Zafar as the weakest link in the chain of leadership of the revolt. So this statement is correct. Actually, Bahadur Shah Zafar was a nominal leader, only a symbolic leader. but the General Bakht Khan was a real leader of this revolt, which led the court of rebellion from Bareilly to Delhi. So obviously this sentence is very, very correct. He was the weakest link of this revolt. Second statement is, the broad outlook of the rebels was not influenced by the religious identity. Religious identity यहाँ पर नहीं थी. Remember, though religion was a factor, but this was not influenced by religious identity because the leaders was the Mughals only. For example, बेगम हजरत महल हो गया, बख्त खान हो गया, तो मुस्लिम जो है वही लीडर्स है. इसीलिए यहाँ पर रिलीजियस आइडेंटिटी का कोई भी फर्क नहीं समझा गया और उन्होंने अपना एक कॉमन एनिमी समझा था ब्रिटिश आर्मी को, और इसीलिए ये रिवोल्ट जो है ब्रिटिश को, अंग्रेजों को कॉमन एनिमी मान के ही चलाया जा रहा था. तो कहीं पर भी रिलीजियस आइडेंटिटी यहां पर नहीं थी. तो ये भी एक करेक्ट स्टेटमेंट हो जाता है. The civilian population did not join the rebellion. उन्होंने रेबेलियन को ज्वाइन नहीं किया. This statement is related to अवध. See, अवध जो है, अगर हम अवध की बात करें तो 1765 वाले जो ट्रीटी ऑफ इलाहाबाद हुआ था उसमें अवध जो है अंग्रेजों का, इंग्लिश का सबसे वफादार दोस्त हो गया था और सबसे ईमानदार दोस्त हो गया था. लेकिन 1801 में वेलेस्ली की जो सब्सिडायरी अलायंस आई थी उसमें अवध का एनेक्सेशन हो गया, मतलब सब्सिडायरी अलायंस को अवध ने ज्वाइन करना पड़ा था. और उसके बाद 1856 में डलहौजी की जो डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ लैप्स थी उसमें भी अवध का एनेक्सेशन हो चुका था. तो इस तरीके से अवध के साथ ऐसा बिहेवियर किया जा रहा था. तो वहां के जो लोग होंगे, फॉर एग्जांपल वहां के जो सिविलियंस होंगे, जो दूसरी कम्युनिटी होगी, सबको डिससेटिस्फैक्शन होगा अवध के बारे में. अगर आप ऐसा उनके साथ बिहेव करोगे तो वो भी रिवोल्ट करने के लिए रेडी हो जाएंगे. तो इसी वजह से जितने भी सिविलियंस थे, जितनी भी सिविलियन पॉपुलेशन अवध की थी, उसने इस रिविलियन को ज्वाइन किया था, ना कि नहीं ज्वाइन किया था. तो याद रखना ये एक इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेटमेंट है. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेटमेंट दैट कैन डायरेक्टली आस्क इन द एग्जामिनेशन, but this statement is wrong. Now what you have to say, the correct statement. So 1 and 2 both are correct, so your answer is A. So the next question is, what were the changes introduced in the Indian army after the revolt of 1857? मतलब after the revolt of 1857 what were the changes in Indian army? क्या क्या किया गया उसके बाद का क्वेश्चन है. ठीक है, तो द proportion of Europeans to Indians in the army was increased. Okay, increased तो करेंगे ही, बट यूनिफॉर्मली थ्रू आउट द कंट्री. ये प्रपोर्शन जो है वो 1857 रिवोल्ट के पहले कैसा था? तो मैं बता दूं, ये जो प्रपोर्शन है ये 5:1 का प्रपोर्शन था इंडियन टू यूरोपियंस की अगर बात करेंगे तो. लेकिन अगर यूरोपियंस टू इंडियन की बात करेंगे तो ये प्रपोर्शन जो है 1:5 का प्रपोर्शन मिलता है. तो आपको इस मैनर में भी इस चीज को समझना होगा कि इसने प्रपोर्शन कैसा पूछा है. क्वेश्चंस ऐसे भी पूछे जा सकते हैं. तो जो प्रपोर्शन यहां पर पूछा गया है वो यूरोपियंस टू इंडियन का प्रपोर्शन पूछा गया है, और यह जो प्रपोर्शन पहले था वो 1:5 था बिफोर 1857 रिवोल्ट. बट आफ्टर द रिवोल्ट इन्होंने क्या किया, इस जो प्रपोर्शन को है उसको इंक्रीज कर दिया. ऑब्वियसली इनको बढ़ाना तो पड़ेगा ही, इंक्रीज तो करना पड़ेगा ही, ताकि ज्यादा यूरोपियंस हो और कम इंडियंस हो और फिर से एक तरह का नेशनलिज्म, एक रिवोल्ट ना हो पाए. तो इंक्रीज करना तो लाजमी था, कोई बात नहीं. लेकिन बोला गया है कि यूनिफॉर्मली इंक्रीज थ्रू आउट द कंट्री. नो, दिस इज इनकरेक्ट. व्हाई? बिकॉज दिस वाज देयर वर 2 रीजंस. फर्स्ट रीजन इज इन बंगाल रीजन, okay, and another reason is Madras region and total South India region. In Bengal region the ratio is increased at 1:2. It means 1 European for 2 Indians. If this was the ratio is Bengal, because the Bengal was very sensitive area, hence this was the ratio. But in Madras and South Indian the ratio was 2:5. It means for 2 Europeans there will be 5 Indians in the army. So yes, they increased the European to Indian ratio, but it was not increased throughout the country uniformly. Hence, this statement is incorrect. Next, caste loyalties were encouraged among the soldiers. Let me tell you, discrimination on the basis of caste, discrimination on the basis of religion or reason are maintained in the recruitment of the Indian army. कास्ट हो गया, कम्युनल हो गया, रिलीजियस लॉयल्टीज, इन सबको एनकरेज किया गया सो दैट उनमें जो सेंटिमेंट्स है वो फिर से ना जागे और फिर से वैसा रिवोल्ट जो है वो नहीं हो पाए. तो जाहिर सी बात है ये भी बिल्कुल करेक्ट स्टेटमेंट है कि हाँ, उनमें एनकरेज किया गया सोल्जर्स में कास्ट लॉयल्टीज को, रिलीजन या रीजन लॉयल्टीज को. ओके, तो पहला स्टेटमेंट गलत और दूसरा हो गया सही. द कंसेप्ट ऑफ मार्शल एंड नॉन मार्शल क्लासेस वाज इंट्रोड्यूस. तो ये मार्शल और नॉन मार्शल क्लासेस का कंसेप्ट क्या था? देखो, एक रीजन ऐसा था, अवध का, बिहार का, सेंट्रल इंडिया का जो रीजन हो गया, इस रीजन ने पहले तो ब्रिटिश ईस्ट इंडिया कंट्री को हेल्प किया था टू कंकर द इंडिया, ठीक है, हेल्प ब्रिटिश ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी टू कंकर द इंडिया, बट लेटर दे हेल्प इन द रिवोल्ट ऑफ 1857. So that reason, it means that Awadh region, that Bihar region, that Central India region, all this region as declared as a non-martial region. Non-martial region means now there is no longer a large recruitment in the British army from this region. So this region is declared as a non-martial region. Okay. Now next another reason is Sikh, Gurkhas and Pathans. These regiments who have assisted to suppress the 1857 revolt, 1857 के रिवोल्ट को सप्रेस करने में जिन्होंने हेल्प किया था, उनको मार्शल क्लास जो है ऐसा डिक्लेयर किया गया. नाउ देयर इज अ बल्क रिक्रूटमेंट फ्रॉम दिस areas, and from this martial classes there is a large recruitment in the army. So yes, this statement is correct. So the concept of martial and non-martial classes was introduced. The post 1857 Indian army was used for India's defense alone. No, this is wrong. After the 1857 revolt, the India's army was also used in Africa region, another Asia region. So this statement is truly wrong. Okay, we need to say the correct changes. So the correct changes are 2 and 3. So your option is A. So this was the last question of today's class. I hope this session will help you for the preparation of your exams. With this, all the best to all of you. We will meet in the next class with the next questions and with the next further concepts. Thank you and Jai Hind.
CGPSC की संपूर्ण तैयारी के लिए कंपटीशन कम्युनिटी के YouTube चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और डेली अपडेट्स के लिए बेल आइकन को प्रेस करना ना भूलें.